call that radio. You call that radio TV. Below. You call that radio TV.
We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us and people of conscience to lose our morale.
You call that radio.
Tucking on my heels, out of sight. Bust off a bar garage. I kept on tight dice. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, it's You Call That Radio TV. How is everyone doing tonight? We have an absolute legend of the music industry, Robin Evans, in the house. So, yeah, you just give us 2 seconds and I'll bring him on. Thanks, everyone. Tuned in. Hope yous are well. Tomorrow we've got Blackbird and Crow. Friday night we have Gyro Babies Unplugged. And Saturday night we've got Joe Jive and the Beehive 5 live from Brooklyn. How he's all doing, let us know in the comments. We've got Petra in the house. We may actually listen to one of Petra's songs later on. Hit the share button. I want as many people to see this as possible, because Robin is an absolute legend. In fact, I think we should all give Robin a round of applause. We're ready. Robin, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Mark. Can you hear me?
Mate, I can hear you very well, mate. Thank you very much for doing this, man. I've been trying to get you on the show for ages, so I'm buzzing that it's finally happened.
Nerves got the better of me, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's just don't be nervous, man. We're just having a chat, man. We're just having a chat. And you've got a wee Guinness there as well, just in case. You know what I mean? I'm doing sober in November, or I would join you, man. I would. How's things anyway, man? Are you been, obviously, I'm sure lockdown affected your general situation, but is it the recordings coming back now?
Yeah. They come and then they go, and then they come and then they go. Depends on what Nicola says, really. You know. But no, it's good. We've been doing some lovely stuff up here. Just did the first live streaming concept. On Sunday, a band called Heavy Duty Box Company came up, and they were...
I know them well, man. I know them well, and I had a wee look at the video earlier on. It was great. They've been on this show before, but they were having some technical issues. But it's nice to see them, man.
It's so nice to see them, man. Yeah, they were just so happy to be playing together. You know what I mean? I had them all separated in different rooms in the house and stuff like that for all the social stuff. But it's just to see the little smiles on their faces to actually be playing together, you know.
Absolutely, man, and they're they've been about for ages as well. I remember playing a couple of gigs with them. When was that? Twatams, maybe about 9 years ago, maybe. Guessing. Yeah. Great band, man. It was good to see them back. Well, actually, we'll play a wee song from that a little bit later on, just for people to see the band and just see what you're, because obviously it seems like you've got such an amazing studio there that it makes sense to maybe try and do some live streaming gigs. It's not easy trying to do it, man. There's so many issues that you come up against. It is, man, indeed.
You kind of like live gig. You're doing studio sound. Organising the cameras, lighting. There's a lot to think about for like a 1 hour moment in time, you know.
But you've got all the internet. Anything can go right or wrong with the internet. You're streaming we're streaming tonight to 4 different social media sites as well. So we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. So there's just so much stuff that can happen, man. There's so much stuff that can happen. So how did it go, man? That was your first attempt at doing the live stream.
We're a little bit nervous about it. putting it out live. So we streamed it privately, and which was good because I we got to have a look at it and maybe just it was good. It was good to there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn about mixing when you're mixing for something you can see or mixing for the radio. They're kind of two different things, audio wise.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we're lucky we've got the expertise of Capture Works when we do our big gigs, and they've worked really hard over the last few months to get it right, and they do a brilliant job. But just like yourself, man, there was a lot of secret gigs that only 2 people could watch because it was just getting streamed to a private group in Facebook, just making sure that that everything is working before you actually want to put it away. But I've seen the videos, man, and they look amazing, so we'll definitely watch a little bit back. But let's go back to a little bit more. I mean, obviously you've worked with some of my favourite acts, man. I mean, you've worked with Manic Street Preachers. That massive Dodgy album that I grew up listening to, man. The Views hit album as well. So many things, and it's always been Teapot Studios. How long has it been happening there, or did you? I think you started doing stuff in London originally, or could you just fill us in your background, Robin?
I trained in a studio called Swan Yard in North London, and then I moved to a studio called Power Plant, which was a wicked studio. I kind of based this place on Power Plant, and then went freelancing, and then moved to Scotland in 1991 with the aim of building my own little Power Plant studio, which we did. Me and my wife at the time, Sam Brown, and so we got operating here about 1995. So we've been running for 25 years or so. Quarter century, Christ's sakes.
That's a long time, man. 25 years, congratulations, man. Because there's a few times it sounds like it's going to end, and everyone's like, no. Against all odds.
Allowed to end.
We've got some people tuned in. We've got Petra tuned in. We've got Joe McCann tuned in. We've got Colette Baby Doll saying hi, Sugar Cubes. Rob, look out tomorrow morning. You'll have AJ delivery babes. Love Baby Doll.
Whatever that means, eh?
Well, that means that there's vegetables on the way to you, I think. Maybe.
Potatoes, carrots, maybe. I don't know. Very wonderful. Baby Doll's a superstar.
And we've got John Scone Mad. How
Hey,
you doing,
John.
John? Good to see you as well. And so, man, 25 years of recording. Did you think it was going to last as long? Were you always in it for the long haul for this studio, or are you just so happy with where you are?
Yeah, it's an amazing place to live. I'm up in the hills, and the studio is like pretty idyllic sort of gaff. But I kind of work day to day, really. Whatever comes in, and if there's something coming in, then I'll do it. There's no long-term plan. There never has been. So if it runs out, then it runs out, and it's a funny old one.
So what was your first hit that Teapot? Was it the Dodgy album that we just referenced there? Was that?
That wasn't recorded at Teapot. That was recorded down in Wessex Studios in North London, and Battery Studios. So my first. I haven't really had any hits out of Teapot. I don't think it's a fairly underground sort of vibe. I kind of work with local people, local Scottish artists, 95% Scottish artists, and The View, I guess. Yeah. So that
was a hit, man. That was a hit.
That was a bit of a hit. Number 1 album, I guess so. Yeah.
What do you guess? So it's a number 1 album. Did you not get like one of the framed things?
I did get a framed thing. Yeah. It was. It was.
Is that the technical term for it?
It is. It's a record you can't play. It's like a. Yeah.
So yeah, I seen that on your the video that you shared from Heavy Duty Box Company yesterday. There was 2 there. So who's the framed records on the wall?
One of them was Dodgy, the 3-piece suite album, the one you mentioned before.
Yeah.
It was I can't remember how many. I think it was maybe for like 240,000 or something like that. So that was a number 1 album as well. That went really well.
It was huge, man. I think like for people that maybe I remember it really clearly. I was young, but I remember it when it came out, and it was just everywhere. Is it just a bit surreal when you're just going into your local shop and
supermarket, paying good enough?
Supermarket.
Yeah, they always play Good Enough in the supermarkets. You know, it's like it's a nice thing. Yeah, it's a nice feeling. You know, good
Listen,
enough.
it's a good. It's perfect supermarket because you're like, you're picking up
Yeah.
products and you're like, oh, it's good enough. It's good enough. Stick it in the trolley.
All right. That was a funny recording. That the producer, who I was the engineer on that album, Hugh Jones, he went off for the weekend, and he left us in the studio to do some B-sides with the band. And he came back on Monday morning, and we'd recorded Good Enough. And that morning, the head of A&M came in as well, and he wanted to have a listen to the B-sides, and he was totally like, right, there's the first single. It was funny the way that came about. That was, you know.
So that was just supposed to be a B-side.
Yeah. We just kind of got chucked in to knock out a few tunes, and that was I think we did 3 tunes over the weekend, and that was one of them.
So had Dodgy already written that, or did they write that over that weekend?
It was written over the weekend. I'm pretty
cool.
sure. It was.
So when you're so what's that like? So obviously we all know that song now. Everyone in the world knows that song. When you're recording it, are you thinking to yourself, "That's a hit," or are you thinking, "That's just a good tune," or are you thinking, "Well, that's radio friendly," or did you just think, what can you tell that that's going to be big?
Yeah. Well, you can tell there's something about something when it happens. And it's more to do with the energy that the people put into it, or as much to do with the energy that people want to put into the recording and the performance and the whole presentation. You know, the way they want to play the guitar, the way they want to, rattle the bass. You know, that's their statement. So that comes over as much as, and so it's a collective feeling. You know, yeah. You know, when there's a buzz, the song could be terrible. But if people are meaning it, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm about energy.
Has there ever been a time where you've been like, that should be a hit, and it just didn't happen?
Yeah, I guess a lot. There's a few albums that I recorded with my ex-wife, Sam Brown. There's an album called 43 Minutes, which was an incredible piece of work. Beautiful, heartfelt, gorgeous songs. Her best album, I think. Had Herbie Flowers playing bass on it. Tony Newman from playing drums. These guys from T-Rex days, and the record company didn't like it, and I think she ended up sort of kind of losing a deal with A&M over the fact that it was too dark. That was a crime. So we started our own label and put it out ourselves. But it was a very different thing, starting your own little homemade label. And then so I'd like to see that album hit the stores again. Properly. But it's not like that anymore, is it? We don't really. The whole world of commercial music has changed so dramatically.
The whole world's changed right now as well. Isn't it?
I know, innit? Yeah, what's coming next?
Who knows, man? Who knows?
Little stream sheet, yeah. That's why I love the idea of streaming stuff and people getting real with their own roots. There's nothing in between. There's you and the audience. It's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah, man. I think that once we get over the technical issues of live streams, to do it right, it's amazing. And I suppose it's all about, once people know that they can come to your live streaming, it's going to be a high quality product, then I think it's going to be quite interesting. You've got things like Songkick and Spotify, like being able to notify all your fans at one go, because for the sort of smaller bands out there, myself included, we just got lots of fans, but they're all spread out all over the place. So I quite like the idea of being able to properly promote a gig that everyone can come to and interact in a live way. Not as good. It's never going to be as good as the real thing, but I think there's definitely things we can do to improve the experience.
Yeah, and this technology is changing stuff as well. Over lockdown, I was really lucky. There's a band called Mirror Shot, who are really modern sort of guys, and they'd booked the studio for a couple of months over the lockdown, which was great, But they're totally into their VR headset. They're doing VR headset gigs. So everyone in the audience has got a VR headset, and during the gig they can change the background of the world that you're looking at and make it a whole immersive experience instead of just a show. You can do that for them.
Sapien, shouts to Sapien who watches this show. He arranged a a backstage VIP experience during our Capture Work show. I don't know much about it because I was stage managing, so I was running about. I didn't actually get to see what it looked like, and I don't have a VR headset. But apparently, you could just tune in, even if you didn't have the VR headset. You could still have a microphone and like speak to people in the crowd, and it's kind of set up like a mosh pit kind of thing, and people have the VR headsets on, and so that's really good. Sorry, what band was that that's doing that?
Miro Shop, my MIRO Shot, Miro Shot, yeah.
Myro Shops, man, amazing.
They had a good.
Yeah, I
little-
think there's something in it, man. Like I'm not clued up on the VR thing, but it's where everything, it's where it's going, man. It's all going.
You've got to have some
it's all
good rock and roll
computers
behind it, though. You know, still got to have your rock and roll behind it. You still got to have, that heart and soul pushing it. You know, technology is one thing, but rock and roll is a whole other world. You know. Do you know what I mean by rock and roll? The balls of being able to stand up and play and present yourself, and make people want to be you. All that sort of. That's another world.
Well, I suppose it's an interesting thing. There's going to be people out there who are actually more suited to presenting themselves in their house, the comfort of their own home, and going like balls out, just going for it. And people are thinking they're amazing. And yet, when they go in front of a crowd, they might not even... There's going to be people who are actually rising to fame right now who have never played to more than a handful of people, who, when things go back to normal, are going to be playing to hundreds, if not thousands of people. And that'll be a lot of pressure.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Hey, be lovely.
It's going to be a lot of pressure for everyone, I think, going back to playing live, because for most people, going this long without a gig is unheard of. So to suddenly having to go back, but I think everyone's going to be rusty, everyone's going to be a little bit off form, but the crowd, I think the bar of everyone's going to just be happy to see any kind of live music. Yeah.
If we get there again, it's like a. Yeah, we will. It's bound to happen, isn't it?
We will get there.
Strange times, it's so strange. On that little subject, I mixed a wicked album a few months ago by a lady called Elizabeth Rousseau. I don't know if you've heard of Elizabeth. She's a Romanian singer, but she has put her lockdown album, and she's very connected with some great musicians. So she put her songs down, acoustic guitar and vocal, recorded them at home, posted them out to like a violin player, posted them out to a cello player, posted them out to a percussionist, and then got all those files back. And I had the pleasure of mixing it. What I really noticed was the freedom that people perform when they're at home in the comfort and they're not in a studio. There's no pressure. It's a total other, almost another sort of art form. It's people are sort of like really expressive. There's no one judging them in your front room when you're putting your part down. You know what I mean?
True.
It was interesting. I've done a couple of albums like that now, like lockdown albums that have been recorded and put out.
Because that is a totally different thing. That'll go either way, because I've just finally got a set up in my house to record my own vocals. I've not really had time to do much, but I'm still not quite sure if I'm going to be the guy who becomes a perfectionist and does it a million times, or I'm just not going to do anything at all, because it is quite weird just doing it yourself and not seeing someone's reaction. Because I base a lot of what I do based on the person, because you can just tell if someone's, not impressed or they are impressed.
Yeah. I guess if you're playing in front of a drummer and the bass player just picks up the beat a wee bit and the drummer just goes, oh, that's great, and he picks it up a wee bit. The next thing, everyone is communicating in a band, and that's like, again, another form of communication, isn't it? You only know it if you've been in a band and you've experienced that feeling. From
a band point of view, we really like to. It's really important to get that live connection and also the audience connection. So it's like you'll play a song and tour it around for a while, play it live, a festival or a couple of gigs, and the experience of playing it live. There's things you learn from it. You think, well, we could have done that a different way. And obviously that's gone, but I suppose that I'm just recording stuff just now anyway, because there's no point in just holding off for all this to come back, because it could be a little while away just yet. So might as well just record stuff, send files to each other, and it's a totally different way of doing things for me, but at the end of the day, it's still there's a lot of merit to it as well. It's just different. It's not worse. It's just
I think we're evolving a new little another art form. You know, it's another element. It's another leg of culture, isn't it? You know,
because like you said, there's a great examples of that magic that happens in a live setting. There is genuine magic you feel when everyone's in the same zone and something magical happens. But like you said, man, how many times could the things have been even better if maybe a shy bass guitarist gets to just do his bit over and over again till he's happy with it, rather than just feeling like he's better just hurry up, like a that'll do kind of mentality, especially when the clock's ticking and you're running out of time and it's costing money.
Right. Yeah. It's changing. Like times are changing.
They certainly are. When was what about the Manic? Let's go back to the Manic Street Preachers, man. That's really that's a very cool claim to fame. In fact, you know what? We've actually got a name drop thing. Hold on, where is it?
The name drop.
You call that radio?
Now, the Manic Street Preachers is a cool. Is Manic Street Preachers your coolest name drop? You've probably got even cooler ones than that. But yeah, what were the Manic Street Preachers, man? What was it like to record them in the early days?
They were great. They were like, I don't know, 19, 20-year-olds at the time, and really keen to make an impression. I got my manager was going out with Martin Hall, who managed one of Martin and Phil Hall. Phil, rest his soul, died a couple of years ago. They sent us off. They thought that I would be suited to the band, so I went off down to Blackwood in South Wales to meet them. And James, the band came out, and they were sort of like sultry teenagers, sort of thing, And they did a set, played a few tunes, and then James was like, right. I said, like, oh great, this would be great, punk sound, la la. And he was like, and he said, I want it to sound like this, and ran up to a big pile of tables and chairs and kicked them all over. Yeah, they were great. And they came up to London, and it was Power Plant Studios I recorded them in. We had great fun. It was a 2-day recording for the Motown Junk EP. That's 4 songs, which was pretty standard, really. Knock out 4 tunes in a weekend. So there was no airs and graces at all. It's just like have ideas and it's like lots of samples, which was all quite a new thing in those days, putting loops and samples on records. The Public Enemy sample in the beginning of Motown Junk and stuff like that. They were great. You guys.
When the Manic Street Preachers, could you tell that they were definitely, their heart was in it basically then?
Oh, yeah.
You get some bands that just sort of come along and then they get a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, and then they just get a new hobby.
Yeah. I kind of like I remember having to encourage Sean, the drummer, to play his drums a little bit harder. He wasn't quite, I'm from an old punk background. I used to go to the Star and see the Damned and get covered in spit and blood and stuff like that afterwards, So I knew what a punk band should really be hitting it, how hard they should be hitting it, and so I remember going out and pogoing in front of Sean while he's putting the tape down, so like jumping up and down, trying air drumming for him, like being total maniac. But sometimes it's got to be done.
Absolutely, man, and I think it's quite interesting you're saying about the sample idea, because obviously. The early Manics was very much a punk band, but they obviously had a sort of a bigger vision as well, rather than just being a typical sort of punk band.
A massive vision, yeah. It was all laid out in their minds which way they were going to go. They released the double gatefold albums, the first one, and then one of them would die. And that would be the reason they had a big success. Obviously Richie has disappeared, and is really an incredibly sad thing. But they were kind of like joked about that concept in the early days as well. How to be a rock and roll star. You know what I mean?
And with them, what I was going to do, man, is I'm going to play one of your tunes just now from the live stream that we were talking about earlier on. Just give us a little introduction to Heavy Duty Box Company. What are the Heavy Duty Box Company like?
They're a local band to here from Octorada. And I guess I've been recording with them for about 14 years since they first came in. They came in, booked the studio for a weekend, put down a couple of tunes, and they'd come back 6 months later, book the studio for a weekend, put down a couple of tunes. So we went like that and ended up making an album, which took about 10 years, which I think they put out this year. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they were, and it's doing well on Spotify as well.
Is it? Oh, good, great, yeah. So there's been a couple of different lineups, but now the lineup is great. The rhythm section is young and vibrant and energetic, and Slice and Lewis can get on with their guitar playing and singing without breaking a sweat. It's nice, yeah. They're great guys, though. They're really they're not playing for anybody but themselves. You know, they're writing for. They're not put off by anyone. They're not trying to be superstars. It's good, honest, rock and roll. I love them.
That's our
Great
last
band.
one's Shorter Area.
Let's check it out.
call that radio? You call that radio TV? No. You call that radio TV?
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio. We're live with the legend Robin here, and we just watched the Heavy Duty Box Company. If you enjoyed that, they have that album finally. 15 years it took, but it's there in all its glory on Spotify. Go and check it out and support the boys. And comments coming in. It looks like Aga is a love heart for Aga. And Alana is in the house saying, love Dodgy, what a song. We actually had Matthew from Dodgy on the show.
I saw that, man. That was brilliant. That week was great. You had Math on, didn't you? Then you had Endicott on, James Endicott.
James, yep, that's him. That's why I was actually pretty sure that I couldn't remember the ordering because I was going to play Dodgy or The View, and I remember one of them made copyright issues. One of them we got away with it, and one of them
I
we
reckon
didn't.
it'll be The View that give you the copyright issues, like.
Yeah, why so?
Hey, corporate world, corporate world. This isn't the corporate world. I love this not corporate world, man. I love the fact that you're kind of like, I recorded that We Tune on Sunday and made a video. You're playing it on Wednesday. And, we're looking after each other. I love this.
Yeah,
world.
man. There's certainly no corporate stuff going on here. In fact, normally we just play the tunes anyway, and sometimes you get away with it. And then it's just after the show's finished, they give you a wee warning and say you either need to take it off or trim it out or mute it or whatever.
So you can't
fine, but just sometimes they actually just chuck you off in the middle of the live stream, and that's different, man. That's shite. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to. We'll maybe end with a tune for Dodgy or The View just to make sure, because I would like to play them. But it just shows you it's just that the world's the technology's not caught up with what's going on here. Because why can't we? We're actually interviewing people who either recorded the songs or performed the songs or own the rights to the songs, but you can't even play their music.
Yeah, it's got to change. Hey, the copyright world, publishing world has to change. I reckon it can change. I reckon, copyright world. We started with the copyright world. The same laws were in place from when people wrote a piece of sheet music, and people bought that piece of sheet music. We're still working on the same archaic system. I reckon copyright should be based around cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and you call your song and you launch your song on the cryptocurrency world, and then every time anyone plays it or views it, you get like a fraction of a penny coming through to you. We can do all that. The technology is all there now. We've just got to get a few people together and go, I
think Bjork done it. It's not. I don't know much about cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
Bjork did do some. She started
a few years ago, though. Technology's come on a long way since then.
Yeah. And I think we had Yvonne in the show recently. She works in publishing and she's worked for some of the major record labels as well. And she seemed like she's quite disillusioned and surprised at the fact that what if you've got an artist on, it's in everyone's interest that the artist can play their own songs and talk about their own songs and explain their own songs to people, just like a radio show. But yeah, it's out of date, man. It's out of date. Alana says, loved the Manics, used to play all their songs in our wee band in my pal's Ma's living room. Nice one. Yeah, I love the Manics Preachers as well. It was I remember the Manics Preachers played. I went to a gig when I was a wee guy, 14 or something. They were playing the Magnum in Irvine. It was the part of the Radio 1 roadshow with Feeder and Little Bow Wow and Cisco, the guy that did the Thong Song. Quite an eclectic lineup that day. Robin, don't forget Robin engineered the Laz, did she?
Well, a little bit, yeah. That song, There She Goes, a big hit. Hey, they came into the Power Plant studios, and I think I recorded a vocal, lead vocal, backing vocals, and the bass. That tune was great. Andy McDonald from Go Discs, he when he got behind a band, he let them. He wouldn't release the single until the band were happy with the single, and he did that with the Lars. And they went round and round 4 or 5 times, replacing the bass, replacing the lead vocal, replacing some backing vocals, until Lee Mavers was absolutely happy with it, and then they put it out. But what a payoff, eh? You know,
What a song!
Yeah, wow, what a song! I know, but it came about as well through a lot of love and patience. You know, it was making that perfect pop song. That was Lee's ambition, and I think
it was a long process to get that song just right.
I only worked with them for an afternoon, for a day. You know, it was an afternoon and an evening session, dubbing. You know, like I say, you know, Andy McDonald came up, Lee, and who's the dude from Cast? You know, the bass player, John something.
John Powers.
Yeah, thank you. I'm terrible with names, eh? Yeah. So it was just
because Cast was more my age. I was right into Cast. They came after the Lads, so I found out about the Lads back to front. I go into the Lads after I go into Cast, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. So I did record part of the Lars song. I wasn't involved in the whole production, but I was definitely a part of the production.
Oh, that's still cool, man. That's one of the greatest. That's probably one of the greatest songs of all time, and it just appears in movies a lot as well. You know what I mean? That's like the supermarket equivalent, except There She Goes always appears in a movie, usually as she leaves. You know, if it's a comedy or a serious movie, maybe. But it's the moment where she decides to leave.
Was it a song about heroin? Was it a song about heroin?
I think There She Goes. There She Goes. It's about heroin.
I think so. I might be wrong.
Everything's about heroin, isn't it?
I think it is.
It sounds like it's about love, but it's actually about heroin. Maybe someone can confirm that. Maybe can Google that. I didn't know that.
I might be totally wrong. Sometimes I make things up. You know, living on a hill on my own, no one to talk to.
There She Goes. Well, I don't care if it's true or not. From now on, I'm going to say There She Goes is about smack. I heard it for the top. I've got good sources that told me that There She Goes is about smack. We got. I was going to ask. So The View, they went to Teapot Studios. What was that like?
That was brilliant, mate. That was down to a bunch of folk. There was John Moore. I don't know if you know John.
Yes, I know. John's watching. Watching just now. Shouts to John. Gone mad.
I hope your poos are getting bigger, John. He's having a bit of trouble. He broke his ribs.
he's having his poos.
He's been on the codeine. He broke his ribs. He's been on the codeine, so he's had 10 days. So anyway, you know.
Oh yeah, no, he had that. Sorry, that's right. The ankle. He's hurt his ankle, hasn't he?
No, he broke his. I don't know what he did. I think he fell out of a hot tub. Something like that.
Out of a hot tub. Something like that. John, I know it's a bad
anyway,
one. So he's been on the codeine and he's got small jobbies.
That's what I believe is happening with John today. Okay. Yeah. God bless him. He's such a superstar. But John and a guy called Steve, who was a video man, and a guy called Grant Dixon. Steve, basically, it turned out the Steve sort of said, "Oh, there's a great band in Dundee. You should go and check them out. They're amazing. We could we could do stuff, la la." And so me and Grant went up to see them, and they were like up in Dryborough, and a little pub. It was like being in the 60s in some sort of weird event. Everyone had their own dance, and they're listening to this brand new sound, which was the View's live show, which changed a bit as they developed, obviously. But at that time, it was quite soul-y, and it wasn't all punk and rock and roll like Owen, whatever his name is, who produced him, Owen Morris. Yeah, he produced Hats Off to the Bust, because before that they were kind of a bit more sort of like cleaner guitars and a bit more Beatlesy. I was totally blown away by them, so we invited them up and recorded the View EP, the first EP, which was Coming Down and Screaming, Shouting and Street Lights and Face for the Radio, and what a great bunch of songs. That was their first session, and they were only about 17 at the time. They were so baby-faced, it was ridiculous. So we started a little label, Two Thumbs, and put them out on that. And shall I tell you the story? How about what happened next?
Yes.
You want to hear it? Yeah,
love to.
Well, the band were Baby Shambles. They were big Baby Shambles and Pete Doherty fans. So Baby Shambles were playing in Fat Sam's in Dundee, and Kieran, Webster, the bass player, like chucked the CD that we had just made that weekend through the tour bus window, which landed at Pete Doherty's feet, who played it on his tour bus stereo and said, "Wow, loved it." Went outside and said, "Whose is this?" Kieran put his hand up and Pete invited Kieran into the bus and said, "Right, okay, halfway through our set, you guys climb over the barrier and come and take our guitars and that off us and do a couple of songs of your own." So that's what the View did. That was their, like, you know, they were suddenly playing on their superstars stage. And Pete Doherty took that very same CD and chucked it on James Endicott's desk, is the way I believe it. And Endicott, you know, had just had a, I think, as I heard, he'd just been given that week like £13 million. I don't know if that's true. Correct me if I'm wrong, James. But I heard that he'd just been given 13 million quid to start his own label. You know, he'd just been poached from Rough Trade, and Sony were giving him all this money to start in 1965. And so he was obviously looking for bands. Doherty comes and chucks his record on, and so by 3 weeks after us recording it, maybe a month or so after recording it, we had, like, you know, the London music business on our tails. It was great.
Wow, man. So many sort of small little happy accidents happen in order to make that happen. And James, if anyone wants to hear a bit more about that, James Endicott, who was the guy that we believe just got £13 million to start Side Review. There's an interview on You Call That Radio. If you look that up on YouTube after the show, you can hear more about it. I mean, I think he actually went as far as saying that the View was his proudest thing in the music business, was signing the View and their subsequent success. Yeah. And that's quite. That's he's worked with. You know, he signed the Libertines, the Strokes as well. Mm-hmm. So he's had a few success stories.
Mm-hmm. It was a great little time for Dundee. That was there was everyone kind of got stoked up. There was a lot of great bands coming out of Dundee at that particular time, 2005 to 2008. There was The Law. They were great. They got signed. They signed up to us as well, and they got signed to EMI. Anderson, McGinty, Webster, Ward and Fisher, the Dundee supergroup. That was one of my favourite albums of that era, self-titled. I don't know if you heard of them. You heard any of their stuff?
Yes, man. I seen them. I heard a lot of them. I was right in it. I was right in the MySpace era, so I was aware of most of the stuff happening in Dundee. Dundee seemed very exciting. Also, you might know my mate's band were in a band called The Front from Ayrshire. So they were pals with the Dundee scene. So they were touring up in Dundee as well. So they were quite a part of that as well. Neil and Aaron, who are now in a band called Crash Club, or were in Crash Club. I think they've got a new band again. But yeah, man, I remember everyone was excited about it. Just the fact Dundee was popping off, and I think that's what happens when one band creates a star. Is then you've got all the journalists starts sort of wandering around trying to find the next View.
And Model Aeroplanes, they came off the back of all that. I think it was, well, I don't know if they came, but with that excitement going on, there's a few Fife bands, you know, so like it spread, the contagion spread from Dundee to Fife.
And what about Fife? Who was representing Fife back then?
Was it? No, what were their names? I can't. You're gonna have to give me a minute. I can't remember names.
That's okay. We'll come back to Fife. We'll come back to the Kingdom of Fife. Bill Morrison. He says, "Mon the Law, great guys." We've got Slices in the house as well. Yeah, let's talk about the Law, man. The Law were also. They had some buzz going at the time.
Yeah, there was we did a single, Milk and Honey. That was like what, you know, you asked earlier on about one of those records when you go, yeah, that's a record, that's a fucking single. We did a weekend session, and everyone got, I mean, the Law were crazy. They used to bring air pistols to the sessions and have full on war with paper pellets. You know, I'm sort of like ducking down trying to mix a tune, and they're shooting each other. They're a crazy bunch, really were. But this one recording, Milk and Honey, man, it was one of those.
I've got Milk and Honey here. Do you know?
Have you?
Let's listen to a little bit of Milk and Honey. I've got it here.
loves him for his money. Oh yes she does. Getting by on a shoestring. You know she can't afford no milk and honey. Twice a day she's run clean out of excuses, but she knows just what to say. Oh la, you're a sign of the times. Oh la, you're a sign of the times. Why don't you give some love for? Give some love for. Give some love for free. He loves her for her funny little ways, until the bottom falls out. That will always be the case. And maybe someday, you never know, they'll come round to their senses and leave each other alone. Oh la, you're a sign of the times. Oh la, you're a sign of the times. Why don't you give some love for? Give some love for. Give some love for free. And maybe you will sing. And maybe you will sing. And maybe you will sing. Oh la, you're a sign of the times. Oh la, you're a sign of the times. Why don't you give some love for? Give some love for. Give some love for free. And maybe you will sing. And maybe you will sing. Then 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 maybe you will sing.
If you don't really know what's going on, there's a show that also doesn't know what's going on. Call that radio TV. You call that radio. Call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
As you call that radio TV, we are indeed building a thing. This show, we don't have any sponsors or funding or corporations, but we are powered by our patrons. So I just want to give a wee shout out to all the people who are decided to sign up in November at patreon.com/you call that radio. And that is, who is it? The new patrons of November is Alan, Marion, Charlotte, Bob, Tracy, Ross, Anna, and Ian. Thank you very much. If you've not signed up to the Patreon yet, then please do. We'll try to get to 200. If we get to 200, we can have a live all-day stream from Capture Works on Christmas. Probably not Christmas Day, but just before Christmas or just after it. And also, if you sign up to the Patreon, you get the bonus of this, which this.
Last man standing on the edge of the world.
I try to remember, but when everything is coming back to me, I feel as if my memory is paralyzed.
Now let's see. What is the last thing you can remember?
I don't know.
body, body.
You don't get to hear it unless you're a patron. It's the single's out, new Jackal Trade single out on the 27th of November. But if you're a patron, check your notifications because you've been sent a free download of it just now. And
it's going to be a hit, Mark.
It's going to be a hit. Do you think so?
Yeah, man. It's got it. It's got it. It's got that feeling.
You got that feeling, man. Well, do you know what? I wrote it in March, the week before lockdown. So just kind of, right now, Glasgow's got that same kind of feel. Not quite as confused, because I suppose we've kind of got used to the strangeness a wee bit, but the confusion. And so, you know that way where you write it, wrote it and recorded it fresh. And I remember I was isolating because I was really not well. And it was just a few days before lockdown, and I was in a house myself. I recorded it, and I thought, right, I'm going to go back and re-record the vocals once I've tweaked it and edited it. But you know, man, so much time's passed now, and I'm just listening to it. And I'm just going, it's not perfect. It's a bit raw, but it's a time capsule of that feeling that I'm never going to.
Yeah.
Even if I do it better, it's not going to be. It's not going to be in my head. I'll know it's not the same. And I think just like the law there as well, it's music's all about capturing a moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a diary of time, isn't it? Watching that law one took me right back. The craziness of those buggers. It was that all the time. When we did a tour with Baby Shambles and The View, I was tour manager for Baby Shambles and The View.
Fuck's sake, man, that's a shift.
Absolutely insane. It was. You had to keep up with them.
How is that even possible?
Yeah, man. I managed it. You know, I managed it. It was like we got kicked out. I think we got banned from all the sort of like travel lodges in the UK off the back of that tour. It was like party every night. It was like sneaking 20 people into a travel lodge. It was ridiculous. Yeah, it was insane. Yeah.
Can people keep? Is there anyone that can just keep going at that full pelt level? Because obviously that was full pelt, Baby Shambles, and The View. Obviously, young guys with the world at their feet, just going for it. But it does seem like it does seems to hit a point for most people where it's like, right, okay, it's time to either start yoga or something in order to continue touring and stuff like that. Or is there just some people that can just keep going? It's
just like you said, a snapshot of life, isn't it? You know, like just, you know, so if you want to really go for it and you're that, you know, like extroverted and you want to, you know, prove yourself to the world, you only have to do it for 20 minutes and then, you know, and get it caught on film and then that's you. You know, what you do after that is your own business, isn't it? You know, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think the media then, if the media get a hold of a picture of you up to mischief or generally acting like a party animal, a few stories, that's you pretty much been branded a party animal forever, even though you might not be. Like, I always wonder about, so what I'm kind of getting at is that you're kind of older, you know, your rock legends, you know, they say, you know, Keith Richards and stuff. I mean, he can't actually be on it that time. Is it possible to stay on it at that level?
What, baby's blood?
Sorry?
Baby's blood.
Yeah. Oh yeah, aye, of course.
As I said, anyway. I don't know. Be able to reoxygenating your blood, blood sort of cleaning stuff. You know, as mere mortals can't afford. I'm sure they're all on it. Eh? That doesn't really make any odds. Nah.
Also, I suppose another thing about touring is that if you're a successful millionaire band who have got plenty of money, then you're obviously going to be eating well, staying at nice hotels, having a fancy bus if you're going with that, or flying first class, and all these little things do make a world of difference if you're on the road a lot.
Right. I've done both types of tours. I once toured with Pink Floyd for a year.
Whoa.
Blagged on.
See, that's a name drop, man. Pink Floyd. What year was this?
It was 1994, the Pulse tour.
Wow.
Sam, my missus at the time, was doing backing vocals for the tour, and we just had a baby, my daughter Vicky. So Dave Gilmour phones up and says, "Ask Sam to do the backing vocals." I'm just like, I'm coming. Yeah. So I just blagged onto it as a nanny. You know, that was my. We did all the private jet thing, and we all stayed in all the 10-star hotels. You know, like egg and bacon was like $100 sort of thing. You know, I'd rather do the crack and smack tour with Baby Shambles than the View, to be honest. Much more fun.
Well, maybe not with a newborn child though.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
all right, you know. Smuggled both my kids into Glastonbury and bass drums. You know, they survived. Yeah.
And your kids got into music as well.
My son Mohan, he's awesome. It's been great actually. The lockdown has brought both my kids home. Mo is a great songwriter, singer, piano player, bass player, guitar player. He's an all-round fantastic. So we've been doing sessions. I've been having like people come in with their acoustic guitar vocal songs, and Mo's been filling in with drums, bass, and piano, and just basically making it sound like an awesome band. And Vic, my daughter, she does lots of visuals. She's a great musician and singer as well, but she does lots of visuals, video making. They're both kind of creatives. Lovely to have them about. Thank goodness for COVID.
So hold on, I'm just getting a comment in from McDonald who says "There She Goes" is definitely about heroin.
There you go. That was wrong. Wasn't wrong.
That's confirmed. We've got Julian says hello, Robin. Looking good, mate.
Hey,
Julian
man.
Hanmer.
Nah.
And Bill
On the race.
Alabama 3 were very hedonistic, more so than any other bands I met backstage over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alabama 3 can party. I can vouch for that. And Petra is laughing at the Crack and Smack tour. And Petra was actually recording with yourself recently. Is that correct?
Yeah. Petra came up and she's great. We've known Petra for a few years, and she occasionally turns up with a song. That was one me and Mo kind of like pitched in. I played guitar on it for her, and Mo played drums and harmonium and bass. And a week later, Pet had made a video. We came up with this little wee lockdown product. It was nice.
Let's just play it. Petra, a lot of our viewers might know Petra from the Friday night phone-ins we do. Petra's a regular. So let's just play it. It's called Ancients and Aliens. I believe it's about John Lennon. It's about heroin. It's about heroin.
Yay!
It's about heroin. I don't know. Petra, fill in. I think something about John Lennon seeing a UFO.
But he was taking a lot of heroin at the time, eh?
He was taking a lot of heroin at the time. So this is My Pet Rocket, Ancients and Aliens, recorded at Teapot Studios.
Ancients and aliens and space invaders watch from the stars. Observing our strange ways, strange creatures, so we are. Pick up an old guitar, sing like the one you really are. You are. Mother Nature is your good. You'll be lucky if you've got her. Heart beating is only fleeting. Life on its own is always getting down. And the words that worm through my head fall so fickle from the
it went down the river, turned right at the United Nations, turned left and then down the river. It wasn't a helicopter, it wasn't a balloon, and it was so near.
And it looked what sort of brown, white,
Just like
and silent.
Silence, and it looked dark, like black or grey in the middle, and had white lights, just looked like light bulbs, you know.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons. Brilliant stuff, and that was My Pet Rocket recorded. Is that the newest song recorded at Teapot?
Yeah, just last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's nice seeing stuff.
There might have been another song recorded since then, but the last official song.
Oh, recorded. There's an album, a guy called Enya. He's the drummer with a band called 13-7. He's done a Lockdown album. He's great. I've been mixing his album. I recorded a song for myself a couple of days ago as well. I'm getting that bored. So I just thought, got it. I've got loads of songs. I'll start putting some down and start.
Is there an album on its way?
For me?
Yeah.
It's impossible to say. It's really hard having a recording studio and being a writer. It's to join the two together. It's like magnets trying to push themselves. It's weird. maybe in about 10 years, eh?
So why is that? Why? Because obviously, a big part of what you do, your job, is to motivate the artists to get things done. Come on, you can do it, inspiring them. Giving them a kick up the arse, giving them knowing when to give the artist a bit of space, or because sometimes maybe it's not working out for them. So take 5. Right. You're basically an expert at getting the best out of an artist. So why is it that you can't do that for yourself?
I don't know. It's, maybe I should go and I don't know. I know what I've decided to do anyway is keep it really simple. I think I overthink production and then forget about the song, which is a terrible thing to do in any production. But because I do it for myself, that's what happens. I think it's that.
It could well be, because obviously you've got so much of experience, decades of experience of things that you respect and you like. So you want your thing to be the best, and it's a combination of everything that's been good that you've ever seen.
I guess, and being the third party as well, like from a band, you're the as a producer and as an engineer, you're the bystander, kind of what helping something happen, but you're a third party. It's an interesting thing, and so you can be more I don't know. Yeah, it's easier to produce other people than it is to produce yourself. That's for sure. Yeah. So
when you're talking about earlier on, so producer, you started a label. How does the tour manager bit come into it? I've heard this new phrase. It's been on. I only heard this since quarantine, but I noticed that a lot of people on the show have been saying, when I asked them what they do, they call it a portfolio career. That's the phrase. A portfolio career. I don't know if this is what they're calling it. So is that you've got? I suppose in the music business, it's always been the case, but even more so now that you've got to kind of dip your toes into different roles, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I just take opportunities if they come my way, and you get the weirdest things happen. I once ended up as at a dinner party with Nigel from Dodgy. His missus Jackie had started a little production company called Hunker Munker. And I just happened to get invited round to this dinner party, and I just happened to be sitting in a chair having a fag after dinner, listening to a conversation, and someone said, "We need an engineer," and I just sort of like went and said, "Oh, what for?" And next thing I was on a plane to the Himalayas to record Tibetan folk music. You know, opportunities come in the weirdest places, and you just got to go, yeah, and jump on it quick. So that was with the View tour management with the Baby Shambles. That was like a moment. We haven't got a tour manager who could do it. And I'm like, well, why can I do it? Hey, whatever.
And what's the Tibetan? Let's go. Hold on. Let's go to the Tibetan thing. We had a Tibetan throat singer on the show, which is incredible.
Yeah.
So was it encompassing the throat singing, or was it more what we'd consider folk music?
Weirdly, the real traditional Tibetan folk music was played on this 3-string guitar called a dren yin, and it kind of sounded like Irish folk music, that sort of thing, that's sort of like jig, but backwards. It was really, really weird. It was great. It was a great experience. You know, we made a short film about Buddhism called Refuge. It was poems written by a lady called Dolma, who had escaped Tibet when the Chinese invaded in 1952, and she'd kept a diary and poems about her journey across the mountains to this Macleod Ganj, which is in India, and the Dalai Lama set up his residence in exile in this place. So part of the film was interviewing the Dalai Lama as well. Actually, there's a good name drop. Press that name drop button, man.
Where's the name drop? The Dalai, you seen it like
The name drop.
You call that radio?
the first time the Dalai Lama's been name dropped on this show. That's good going, man. That's good going.
I had a dance with him as well. I had a wee dance with the Dalai Lama.
What kind of dance?
It was kind of a bit of a waltz sort of thing. I was crouched down recording. He was doing this speech to like all these 10,000 Tibetan people. And I was crouched down just trying to like recording his speech, and I got a cramp in my leg, you know. It's just like fucking had to stand up. I stood up and he stood up, and he saw us and he sort of held my arms, you know. I was like, it was nice. It was like a 3-second dance to me. It was,
That is amazing, man. That is amazing. Yeah. And is going back to Pink Floyd, because I'm still that's a name drop as well. Did you get to hang about with the band, or is it such a big tour that you just big stadiums, so you're like you're at one side and they're at the other side?
No, not at all. They'd hired obviously a jet plane, so all the band were on there, and there's I sat with Dave Gilmour a couple of times. I didn't.
Is he sound?
Yeah, he's sound as fuck. He's so like mega awesome that it's hard. I got stage fright. I get stage fright with people like that, you know. I just clam up, you know. I get sweaty palms. Say something stupid, you know. It's like you know, yeah. So no, he's sound. All the band are sound. They're really nice folk. They're lovely folk, actually. I got them all with their missuses because I was the babysitter, you know.
Yeah. And I've got the Dave Gilmour has actually been quite famous this week because he's always been famous, I suppose, but there's a thing. Where is it? It's a meme that's been going about. That's been doing the rounds. When you just want to play your guitar with your dad, is that guy from Pink Floyd? Where is it? Got her face.
Brilliant.
No, it's an amazing, man. Pink Floyd are just such an inspiration. We actually had I don't know if you know Martin Glover, Youth.
Yes, yeah. Well, Youth
so
one.
he was on the show, and you know he's been involved in loads of amazing albums that I grew up with as well. And it was quite interesting hearing him saying that he didn't, you know, he just feels like he was just been winging it, and he only finally sort of now considers himself a producer because he got to do a Pink Floyd album. So he got to do The Endless River, and that for him was like, but it was still just like you're saying, man. It's Pink Floyd, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how many albums you've done, you're still doing a Pink Floyd album. So it's man. I was also the only time that I've actually made it to Teapot Studios. It's nearly happened a few times. You were supposed to do the first ever Gyro Babies EP, and you had a flood at the studio, I think, or something like that.
That's
So it
right.
called
Yeah.
off.
That's
It
right.
called off just a wee bit before it. Do you know, I'm just starting to piece two things together. We actually had Syllable from Syllable and Brains on the show.
Really? Yeah.
And there was a music video where they actually, I think was maybe at the same time
Eat
when
your
your studio
brains
was
out.
flooded.
Eat your brains
So,
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That was
could
great. That
be-
was my front room after a flood. All the plaster was off the walls. The floors were all warped.
So was that the
And,
exact same time that we were supposed to be going to record our EP?
Ooh, now you're asking, eh?
Or was that a different flood? Has there been two
No,
floods?
that was the same flood. That was post-apocalypse flood. So I think you're probably, and it was January, and I remember there was a lot of snow, and with Syllable and Brains in the house. This was recording the album, and we ran out of whiskey and fags, and we did a walk from my house to Dunning, which is like 4 miles, in like a meter of snow, just to get whiskey and fags. So you're probably, yeah, that was pre-flood. Yeah, so somewhere between then and March. I don't know, it was 19th of December, the flood. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, anyway, we'll get it together, Mark. We'll work with each other one day.
I'm just bringing the. Where are we?
There you go. Great tune,
Try-
man.
try-
I
try-
jingle
try-
anytime I see
there we
this
go.
video. There you go. That's the front row there. Every time I see that
was-
video, I piss myself. Man.
That was the flood going on there. So I we did, but I was lucky enough to come to Teapot Studios to see a little bit of the process when the Twistettes were recording their album.
They were such superstars, yeah.
And they loved it, and yeah, man, it's such a good vibe. And in fact, maybe play a wee tune, "Weird Me" from the album.
I was playing
Yeah,
this.
man, what was it like working with the Twistettes and that whole process?
They're brilliant. They're just artists, and like Joe is such an artist. It's almost not about the music; it's about the art. It's crossing boundaries, which I love, because you stop being precious about the music and get into the art. That's what it's all about. They're brilliant. Mm-hmm.
And this is a great video that the legendary Martin Windybank did.
Simply weird, weird me. Can't escape, it's me, can't see. Take over, under, discover that I see the light. Sunrise, burn, gut ripping structure, turn and my memory and my unknown This place chills, chill, thrill, remaining beautiful while flaking into dust, reinstating everything that I see the strange play and I see a strange face. I'm in a strange play and I see a strange face. I'm in a strange play and I see a strange face. I'm in a strange play and I see a strange face. I'm in a strange play and I see a strange
and sisters.
Is that you, Daniel? Are you before me?
You call that radio?
Hello, yes, this is Dog.
As indeed you call that radio. You just watched Weird Me by the Twistettes, which was recorded.
Amazing. I love that video, man. That's brilliant.
Yeah, Martin Windybank, absolute legend on the visuals as well. And yeah, man, it's quite interesting because the Joe and Nicky with the masks on, they do look very similar, and you know it's hard to actually take them up, pick them apart really. Petra says Weird Me, that's fab. Colette says bra, Twistettes, all the emoticons, emojis, and Martin Windy. Tam the Van, we went to Teapot for Twistettes album Asbo material talking about the song. Yeah, Tam the Van, indeed it was Tam that took me to Teapot. And yeah, shouts to Tam the Van, always representing when it's time to go a drive into the Weird and Wonderful, because you do need a car. You're not going to be getting public transport to Teapot.
No, it's a long walk.
It's 4 miles.
In the meter of snow. That was a long walk, that was.
Was it worth it though for that? Was that a good smoke?
Oh, fucking right, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good
It
smoke.
was the whiskey. It was the whiskey more than the smoke, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, you just talk about quickly about smoking. So you've quit smoking. You've quit.
No, I just, obviously not. Yeah, it's no, I can't. I find it hard to. But I'm trying. I didn't have a fag today until 5 o'clock this afternoon.
That's good. I mean, I think that's you know, I think that's like a good. Well, just to put it later on and later in the day, I think it's good for, you know, that's how like to stop smoking weed. I found was quite a good way to do it. Just to kind of later and later as the day goes on, sort of to taper yourself off. But yeah, you actually said something that was quite interesting about quitting smoking before, and I think there was some kind of weird weather thing was going on. There was like nobody could drive. Maybe it was too icy, snowed in, a storm. I don't know. There was, for some reason, there was nothing, and you said that you couldn't. When it's easy to quit smoking when you don't have a choice, or something, because you didn't actually have any cigarettes. So because you didn't have cigarettes, you're like, well, it's easy to quit because I don't have any cigarettes and there's no way of getting them, or something like that. Because my father, they quit smoking. What he said was, what helped him quit smoking was always having a packet of cigarettes there just in case he needed them.
I'm not there yet. If there's tobacco in the house every morning, I kind of like will go through. I'm not happy until I know there's no roll up that hasn't been the tobacco taken out of it. You know, like I'm right skank, man. You know, but that's the addiction of nicotine. It's a bastard. Tell you.
I think it is addictive, man. I've done my own independent studies and I've found that it is addictive. But I quit on October the 1st, and I've had the Halloween night. I ruined it in Halloween night. But apart from that, no booze, no cigarettes. So you know, long may it continue. But
no moustache.
Haven't done this before. I do know that it can change. It can change, and you can be smoking and drinking again in no time. So I'm not.
You've got to live your life, though, haven't you? And this lockdown thing is proving that, you know, you've got to enjoy your life somehow. You can't just be like a sheep in a field and just, you know, look at the sheep in the field and you go, oh, what sort of life is that? But in some ways, you can look at some people in there sitting in their front rooms for months on end, and it's no different from a sheep in the field. You know, you got to enjoy something. You got to go for something. You got to grab something. You know.
Fuck it, I'll have a fag.
Go on, have a fag. Kill yourself before that COVID comes.
I'll be okay. I will eventually smoke a drink again. But you know, I suppose the way I'm looking at it is that when I do smoke and drink is a special occasion. That's where I'm kind of going for it, because I just thought, you know, the thing is, like, doing this show, man. If I was to, there's so you know, 9 times out of 10 I'm speaking to someone that I know, and I'd love to have a beer with. So But usually everyone I'm speaking to, they only do one interview in a blue moon, so they're having a beer and a fag. So if I was to have a beer and a fag with everyone
It'd
that's
be
having
nice
a
if
beer
you
and a
did, though.
fag.
It'd be just like sitting in a pub.
Well,
You know,
have you seen this show? There's been times where the show has been like sitting in the pub. There's episodes that I've had to be taken down from the internet for cheeky behaviour.
Is it just you, Mark? Is it just you doing this? Have you got anyone backstage, or are you just doing it all yourself? Like,
It's just me. When I say the word
Really
we, I
amazing.
say we a lot. Like, oh, we'll join us after this break, or we are trying to. It's just me, man. It's just me.
No,
It's
brilliant.
all
That's so cool. This is the modern culture. This is us like making history, bro.
It's history in the making, man. It is. And thank you very much for doing this, man. I do appreciate you taking the time to speak to us tonight, man. I'm a massive fan of loads of your stuff you've done. And obviously, I've met you a few times before, but it's still good to actually have you on this show and just genuinely chat with you, man, and talk about some of these amazing things. The Pink Floyd, the Manic Street Preachers, the Dalai Lama.
So you're going to come up and record. It was poetry. You were going to come and do some
Yes,
spoken
man.
word stuff. That was what you were going to do last time, wasn't it?
It was. I was going to do it because I think it's like
To make a plan, try not to break it this time.
Let's just do it, man. I've got all these poems. They're supposed to be actually. I've got a publishing deal to do a poetry collection. I've never released anything like that before because I've done lots of spoken words, so I should just do that. And if it goes well, if people want to buy words, I've got loads of words, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if people would buy them.
People want words. They do good words.
If people want words, we've got boxes of words here. Obviously, not all of them are very good, but there is a lot of words here. So if the poetry collection is coming out, it makes sense to do an album to go and coincide with the words. You know what I mean? You can't have
I
one
did a
without the
really
other.
cool thing once. I got an old piano, and it had one vocal mic, which was for poetry. And then there's about 3 people around this old piano frame, kind of boinging it and hitting it, going dong, 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 and scraping things across it. And a violin, and just sound effects. Maybe we could do something like that. We do
Absolutely, man.
A crazy, spoken word, atmospheric session,
Well, that's what I'd be interested in because I quite like a lot of the stuff I do relies on a live audience or something to do. I think just reading it verbatim with nothing is a bit weird, but there's obviously not going to be a live audience for a while. And like I said, man, what I'm enjoying, finally now recording in the house is good for demos, but I'm still going to need to go to studios to record the songs that I'm doing. I just think that, like I said, I need to see that live reaction. I think to get the best out of me, I think I need to work with someone. That's where I'm at just now.
I'd love to, man. Love to.
So let's definitely do it, man. I want to record something at Teapot, and David Robinson saying Slice, I think, saying it was the 24-hour jam. Yeah, tell us about that quickly, man. I've got Stephanie Fraser lined up to wrap up the show, but let's just talk about the 24-hour jam.
24-hour jams. Me and a guy called Tim Lane, who's a fucking amazing percussion drummer, a trombone player. Bottle of whiskey one night, decided we needed to save the world. So we said, right, how can we fucking mobilize musicians? So we decided to have a 24-hour jam, invited a bunch of people to come and play. And it was fucking amazing. Just set the whole studio up. So every instrument was live and every guitar, piano, anything. It was a lovely sound. And we had some incredible musicians come up and jam for 24 hours. We filmed it, raised some money for Syrian refugees. We've done 2 of those. I'd like to do another one. If anyone's up for it, give me a shout and we'll start setting it up because one energy forces another.
So it was like every hour would a new person arrive, like a Royal Rumble, if you're familiar with the rules.
Yeah, we had a rough schedule and invited people to arrive to like 2 o'clock in the morning. There was Edinburgh Festival was going at the time. So 2 o'clock in the morning, there was a full-on pipe band arrived. And, so we kind of got all a bit dark and moody. And then there's like drunk folk in a minibus turn up and start piping it up. It was amazing. We need
to do that again. I was hopeful to get there, but I didn't get. Let's get it done, ladies. Yeah,
it'll do. Just say the word. You know, that's all it takes.
and just for people who maybe who would maybe like to record their single or their albums at Teapot, how would they do it?
Just get in touch with me on Teapot Studio Facebook or Robin Wynn Evans Facebook, or have a look at Teapot Studio YouTube. There's some wicked videos up there. You can get in touch with me on social media, and I'm up.
And also for is it like a yoga retreat or something as well?
Oh yeah, I've been toying with that idea of like, there's a big space here. I've just built a roundhouse in the garden, which is really cool. But yeah, those sort of ideas come and go, but it's generally rock and roll and folk music, and the music's, it kind of always takes over. There's no room for yoga retreats.
not quite yet.
Not quite yet.
Tell us about Stephanie Fraser.
Stephanie is just an incredible singer-songwriter. She was signed to Island Records, and she lives in Dundee now. She's just a beautiful person, and this song, is it I Know You, the song?
Yes.
It's a song about dementia. It just makes me cry. Sorry to leave it on a note like that, but yeah. It's
all right. What we'll maybe do is we'll maybe come back then. Let's just check out the beauty of I Know You, and it's live from Teapot.
Sorry.
Wow.
It's just audio, yeah.
I'm not sure. Yeah, there was another one which wasn't this.
Okay, let me just check.
It was on Teapot YouTube.
Official video.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I think that was just the audio version. Okay, let's go for the video.
Come and turn me in the night. Will you feed me in the morning? I know that you're strangers here, but somehow you keep me fighting for my life. I swear I've seen your face before. You tell me we talk every day. I don't know why my mind fails me, or how I came to be in this place. But I know you. Yes, I know you. My room, it has a window, and I'm still searching for the sea. Don't think I'll ever get to go there, or if I've ever even been. But sometimes I do recall a different version of myself. Oh, she had a man to hold, he's all she'd ever known, and God, how they love to dance. Yes, I know you. Yes, I know you. There's a man that comes to see me, and there are days I think it's you. He follows the lines on my face with his fingers, looking for my youth. I know that he is not my lover, but he stops the aching in my bones. He stops the time that is escaping, and I don't feel so alone. Yes, I know you.
strange mood of our time.
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
That was absolutely amazing, man.
Thanks for playing that, Mark. That means a lot to me, man. Thank you.
Beautiful song, and yeah, man, a brilliant. Tell me more about Stephanie Fraser. We should get her on the show.
Yeah. I was just I'll get in touch with her. I'll get her to get in touch with you.
That's incredible.
Incredible. When I was playing that, I was just thinking, right, that's my next my next live stream. Well, basically, she came in through the Anderson McGinty, Webster, Ward and Fisher guys from Dundee.
See, do you not think that name is too much?
I think it's brilliant. And once you remember it, you never forget it. Yeah. So me and Mo, my son, we went to see them in a theatre. I'm not sure where it was. It was probably in Dundee, actually. It was probably... Anyway, so Steph was supporting them, and so she just came on. The theatre was empty. Everyone was at the bar getting a drink. So me and Mo sat at the front, and we were just blown away. He stalked her, and those two have got a great little thing going. They write some lovely songs together, Mo and Steph. So that's going to be my next live stream is Stephanie and Mo, and maybe we could coordinate something together.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And it'll be a lot easier than having like a 4-piece band as well. Or will Stephanie have a band with her, or how will it work?
She goes out with Gav McGinty from Anderson McGinty, Webster, Ward and Fisher. So she might play with him.
Yeah.
She sings amazingly with my son Mo. So she might play with it. I don't know. She's a free spirit. It depends on what happens. But at the end of the day, if she turns up with a guitar and a voice, then you're going to get blown away.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And have you got any idea of how often you're going to do it? Is it going to be a weekly thing, a monthly thing, or?
A month. It's a difficult one. We'd like to do it in like maybe 2 ways. One is if someone wants to pay me to come and hear and spend a day setting up, making a video, making the live stream thing happen. That's one element of it. And another element is I'd like to be able to choose people and say, wow, I'd really like you to do this. So there's two ways. So if anyone wants to do a live stream, then I'm happy to do it. But there'd be people like Steph and that I would just say, come on, please come and play for us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. And it's a great advert for the studio as well. So I hope hopefully
part of this new world of people joining hands and working together. There's other little radio stations like yourself, kind of like there's one in Oxford, a guy called Tom Nicholson's just started one. There'll be loads of them, I reckon. It's like how to join hands with this like other network going on, this underground network.
There is an underground network like mushrooms.
Like a mycelium.
like mycelium. I watched the Fantastic Fungi, the Paul Stamets documentary the other night.
I've not seen that. No.
It's really interesting. It's about underground networks and mushrooms and all the things they get up to. It's incredible, really good. The only bad thing about it is they say fungi.
Fungi? I've never heard that.
Fungi. Yeah, it's an American.
Maybe we've got it wrong. Maybe it is fungi.
Well, it is to them. It is to them, but it's not to me. Not yet, anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish with...
Fun guy to be with.
A fun guy. Well, that's it. You can't do the fun guy to be with joke if you start running about calling it fungi. Also, shout outs to Stephanie Fraser, is... hold on. Colette said, so bro, last Stephanie is. Petra says, love Steph. She did backing vocals on my track. She's amazing. And this is so good. And Shek says, I heard mushroom. Mushrooms. Well, I've actually been on some sort of mushroom tablet. It's supposed to be good for you.
So like microdosing, sort of like psilocybin sort of thing.
Well, no, but I'm up for that.
That works. Two mushies a day, keep the psychiatrist away.
Yeah, well, I do know that I've got a friend who microdoses, but it would blow you away the amount that they're taking. They've built up a tolerance. But yeah, no, I've heard good things, and the mushrooms I'm on, it's legit. It's legit. It's legit. Seven different types of mushroom in a capsule. Feel good.
Well, for like vitamins and stuff like that, minerals. Is that what that's
like? What do you call them? what do you call them? Name some mushroom, lion's mane and stuff like that in it. So it's apparently good for all sorts of things. And after watching Fantastic Fungi,
I shall be watching that. Yeah, I shall be watching
just check it out, man. It's a really interesting documentary, and it will make you want to take all the mushrooms. I'm up for mega dosing, says Sheck. Yeah.
No, man.
Microdose, mega dose.
No megadose.
Megadose if you want, just be you. Thank you very much, Robin.
Hello,
how you doing?
How's it going?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Are you here to give us a song?
No.
In fact, Robin, you're not going to give us a song.
No.
Might as well do a tune.
Come on, man. Give us a...
Oh, man. Wow. Looking for a fag, damn it.
Come on then, quick one.
Might as well.
All right.
An impromptu gig, a finale. I'll give you a wee intro. I'll give you an intro, so you can.
I don't know what to sing.
How
many people are watching?
There's it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's.
Right. Okay. What do I play?
Pretend you're at Wembley Stadium.
Okay. Nice. I haven't played a guitar song in ages.
I'm really mean. This is a proper dad joke. This is.
Yeah. This is really not fair.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, though. What's that Fraser song?
Oh no, I can't play that. I don't know. Nothing compared to the young one who wasn't afraid. Nothing compared to the blissful ignorance of playing in the rain. So what's wrong? Don't you wanna see it pour down on your home and where your heart is? Your home is where your heart is, with your mother and your father, brothers and your sisters, to remind you of the ups from the downs, the ups from the downs, the heavenly days when the friendships were found. The world vibrates from your foot to the ground. Your heart fluctuates with all the people around, hearing the sound that they're all here for you. Nobody's stronger than the one who pushed through all the pain. I'm sorry, it's in ages. My sister showed me she's gone a long way. We've been sharing the roads and not living our lives in vain. I have others close by that have been going through the same. The ups from the downs, the heavenly days when the friendships were found. The world vibrates from your foot to the ground. Your heart fluctuates with all the people around, hearing the sound that they're all here for you. They're all here for you. Come on, go back to rolling my
Last
cigarette
time you get
now.
pressure on the live interview there. No, bless. You've gone. I can't see you.
It's me. Petra says, love you, Mo, love this song. Colette says, yes, Moham, quality sugar cube. Love Auntie Cole, aka Baby Doll, my favourite. Sheck says, the Joe Rogan and Stamets chat is awesome. Yep, I would agree. Check that out. Paul Stamets on Joe Rogan is a good chat as well. Amazing stuff, Robin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish with a wee tune from Blackbird and Crow, who are a Donegal duo, who are on the show tomorrow, and I'm buzzing for that, man.
Yeah, man.
This is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. all the way from Donegal. It's Blackbird and Crow. Probably my favourite new band that I've discovered this year. And 2 amazing albums out there. Some amazing.
That video is amazing, eh? The one with the girl on the ropes with the shower.
Yes, incredible, man, incredible. We played that. We played that one last week, and we played. I'll put a Pox on You last night. So I think we'll play Moon Rabbit, which is another great video. And great chats, laughs tonight. Thank you, Petra, for tuning in. How good was that, Mo? Shouts to Susan McLaren as well. So nice one, Mo. Thank you very much, Mo, for that impromptu tune at the end.
No problem, man.
Thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you, Mark, for having us.
Keep up the good work of Teapot Studios, and thanks to everyone who's tuned in. We'll see you tomorrow night for these guys, 7 o'clock for Blackbird and Crow. See you later, Robin.
Cheers, bud. Bye-bye.
That's been trapped in a snare. Like you want me to save you. Well, tell me, why are you scared? I'm as big as the moon, but I'll not hurt you, I swear. Sweet wallflower man, I'm gonna treat you with care. If I be the moon, will you be the sun? If I be the goddess, will you be the one? If I be the moon, will you be the sun? If I be the goddess, will you be the one? A gentle creature, what is to blame? Can I unburden you? Can I take your shame? A wild heart sits inside you. Wrap me up in those flames. Let me kneel down and pray you. Let me carry your chains. If I